if you haven't tried a Baby Sling Fit class yet and you're about to try one, what I want you to do is either try it without your baby on you, or if you have got your baby with you, just make sure they are nice and secure, that they're in a really good position. So let me just go through the TICKS rules with you. The TICKS rules are ones where your baby is able to be safe and you can feel that you are doing the best you can for both you and for the baby. So you just want to always make sure that your lips are within touching distance of their forehead and their head. And the reason for this is you can actually do a little bit of a temperature check with your chin or your cheek or your lips onto the top of their heads, and you can give them a little kiss as well. But it just means as well that their head is underneath your chin for safety purposes. You also want to make sure that they're above your cleavage. So they want to be sitting on the top part of your chest, not sunk right down. So I haven't got a big bust, but for those of you who've got a bigger bust, you want to make sure that they are nowhere near that cleavage where they can sink their face into the middle of you. What happens a lot of the time when babies come into a baby sling, they actually nuzzle into the center to begin with, which is completely normal. But what you want them to do is you want them to either look to the left or the right so that you can see that their airway is clear. That's really important. Their airway needs to be clear. So they're within kissing distance, their airway is clear. The next thing you want to do is make sure that they're under 3 layers of fabric. Now, if you're in a sling like this, they will be under 3 layers. You pop them into the underneath layer first, which we've gone through in the demonstration. Then you put the second layer on, and you want to make sure that their legs are in this lovely M position. Now, with baby's hips, their hip bones go into their sockets in sort of like up and in. And that's the reason why we want them to be in this M shape. Because if you can imagine when they're older, they sit on your hip quite comfortably and their legs are in like an M position. And that's because our hip sockets actually go in sort of into this way. So we want their legs to be comfortable, their hip sockets to be comfortable. And you may have a baby sling where it actually just sits underneath their bottoms and comes up into their legs, and they come into this position and it's a clip and hook and buckle one. That's absolutely fine. That works as well. But you just want to make sure that their legs are in a really nice M position, and then they've got a really nice smooth back so that their backs are nice and long and straight. Okay, so you can see this one is sitting just nicely underneath my chin. Their back's nice and straight. Their legs are to the side. And if I want to see where their arms are, I can also hold their hands from here if I want to. But I tend to, with little ones, get them to keep their arms inside during the time that they're probably between beginning of the classes from say 6 to 8 weeks up to around about 4 or 5 months. They do then, when they get a bit older, like to kick their legs, they like to put their arms out, and you can then hold on to their hands as well whilst you're doing some of the exercises if you want to, so that they can enjoy that with you. One of the questions I get asked a lot is, when can I turn my baby around? I'm going to do a video about babies in a sort of like in a front hold position, and I'll demonstrate that too. But what I want you to just remember is your baby's back is very delicate in those first few months, and until they're seated, so their backs are nice and strong to be able to hold themselves in an upright position. If you can imagine, you turn your baby around. If you've got a baby sling like this, there's no support for their back. It's pushing against your bust line. Now for dads, it's not such a problem because obviously they've got a much firmer back, sort of like chest for the back to go against. But on a mother, babies are going to be then leaning forwards away from you. And when they do that, it's actually not so good for their spines. So the other thing as well is they want to see you. Their comfort and their ability to relax and enjoy the class or do anything with you in a baby sling is that line of vision. You think that when they turned around, they can see the rest of the world and get really excited. But strangely enough, they do like to see your line of vision before the age of 6 months. As soon as they get to 5, 6 months and they're stronger and they're moving around, that's where they're more used to seeing outside without them seeing the line of your face. So being in this position as long as you can be is much better. It's better for your posture, it's better for their posture, and hopefully you're going to notice that difference when you have your baby on you. So those are the rules, just making sure that they're within kissing distance or touching with your cheek, making sure their airway is nice and clear, making sure they're above your cleavage, making sure their knees are in to this really nice line so their hips are nice and supported, and their backs are nice and long and straight as well. And that's what I'd love you to do, just to make sure that everything before a class feels really good for you.